Hello everybody, this is KDreezy from KDreezy Gaming, and today we are starting a new series called Easy KSP, and just as the name gives away, I am trying to make as easy of a guide for career mode in this game as possible. So whether you're starting out and never played KSP before, or maybe you have and you just were not that good at it, or you couldn't figure it out, this guide is for you. So hopefully it will help you be able to get through the career mode in as short a time possible. So without further ado, I'm going to start a new game called Easy KSP, put it in career mode, and choose a flag. Alright, so once you choose your flag, just go ahead and hit start. We're going to leave all the settings the same in normal difficulty. And when you first load up, you're going to see a little welcome message. You guys can read that in your own game if you would like. I'm not going to sit here and read all of these for you, but I will tell you about each of these buildings. So you have a bunch of sections, I think 9 sections in your Space Center. And so you have a launch pad, which is where you launch all your rockets. You have a vehicle assembly building, which is where you build all of your rockets, space shuttles, etc. And then you have a runway, which is obviously where you take off and land for your airplanes, and a space plane hangar where you build your space planes and airplanes to take off at the runway. And then you have a mission control center, which is where you get contracts, which accomplishing those contracts give you more money and reputation and science. You also have a tracking station for tracking objects, planets, spaceships, etc. Then you have a research and development center, which is where you can use your science to upgrade your parts and get more parts for building. Then you have an astronaut complex, which is where you hire your astronauts, and then a administration building, which we won't really care about. And actually the astronaut complex we won't use till later either. So both of those kind of just push them off to the side of your memory or your brain. So what we're going to do right now is go to the mission control building and select our first 2 contracts, which will give us more funding and more science for accomplishing later missions. So as you can see, there are 0 active contracts. We have a max of 2, so we can select 2 contracts to attempt at any given time as far as the mission control is right now. Later we can upgrade that and get more. So go ahead and select the first 2 single star missions, which basically mean that they're easy, and as you can see, you cannot accept a third because you already have 2, which is your max. So we have gather scientific data from Kerbal and launch our first vessel. So when you accomplish contracts, you gain science, you gain reputation, and you gain funding. And we can get into what those are more later, but first of all, obviously you need funding to build rockets and things like that, and you need science, and you need to perform science experiments in order to use that science and upgrade your technology. So here at the technology building, you can see that we need 5 science for upgrading our rockets and upgrading our engineering parts. Now go into your vehicle assembly building, and we are going to build a small rocket, as you've seen pictured here, and it's just a small flea booster, and I put only a third of the fuel in there. So if you right click it, you can bring the fuel down to about a third, because you don't really want to waste that much fuel. And it's got a regular command pod and a parachute on the top, and then 2 mystery goo experiments on the side. So what I'm going to do is rename this as first spaceship, and then I'm going to save it. And actually, before we launch, we want to go to our staging sequence, which is in the bottom right, and make a new stage, put the rocket on the bottom and then the parachute on the top. And so it counts down from 3, 2, 1, 0, so 0 will be our last stage. Now we can launch this after we save it again, and it'll bring us to the launch pad. Alright, now we are at the launch pad, and so what you want to do before you launch is hit T, which will allow your pilot to help keep your vehicle stable. You can throttle up using shift or throttle down using control, and then you want to go to one of your mystery goo containers and right click it, and then do the experiment and then keep the experiment. Alright, and so that just gave us a little bit of science, and now you can also do a right click on your vessel and then hit crew report, which will give you a little bit more science. Alright, so now we can launch our vehicle. And to do that, all you got to do is hit your spacebar. Alright, so as you can see, that ran out of fuel very quickly, but like I said, you don't want to waste any fuel, you're wasting money that way. And now that we are up in the air, now we can do the other mystery goo, and we will get even more science that way. And then if you right click on your parachute and it says safe to deploy, safe, then you can deploy the chute at any time. You can also hit the spacebar to do your next stage. Alright, and now we are falling back towards Earth, and our parachute hasn't opened up yet because we aren't quite slow enough, or low enough I should say. And you can use the upper left hand corner to speed up, so you're basically just time accelerating, and so I'm time accelerating 4 times right now, so we don't have to wait for the parachute to go all the way back down to Earth, or Kerbal I should say. Alright, now you have landed your vessel, and everything appears to be safe, but what you can do is you can hit the EVA button, and then once you're out, you can right click on your Kerbal and do an EVA report and keep that as well. What I like to do is I like to right click my cockpit and then store the experiment, because it's a good habit to be in for later, and then you can hit B to board. Now you can go up and hit recover vessel. Alright, so now it says here we gained 27 science from that mission, and we actually got 100% of the value back from our ship. Obviously that's not including the fuel that we spent, but as far as all the parts, we didn't waste any parts, so that's good. And also our pilot gained 1 experience. Now we can go back to the Research and Development Center, and we can unlock the basic rocketry, which gives us more engines to use for rockets later on. And then we can also upgrade our Engineering 101, which gives us a decoupler, 2 antennas, and a temperature meter. So we have 17.9 science available still, so the only one that we can afford right now is 15 science, and that's survivability, which gives us a barometer and a few other things which will be very helpful in later missions. So let's go ahead and research that, and that's the end of the first episode. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Good luck and have fun.